Ooh. There you go, Casey.
Well, happy Tuesday here on MCSN. I'm live here with Cardinal girls head coach James Depke. And Coach, you got to compare 1 and 2 teams tonight, and I'm sure you're probably too happy with your team being 1 and 2, but it is what it is.
Yep.
And you know, this first part of the year, it's kind of a figuring out process. But what have you figured out so far, and what's still the questions out there?
Question out there is you've seen it and it's on tape. How do we handle pressure consistently? We haven't done a good job of that. You saw that Friday night. You saw it the fourth quarter of the Vinton game. Independence didn't pressure the ball like the 2 previous teams that we've played. You know, and tonight's going to be the same deal. If we can handle the first 47.5 feet of basketball court and not turn the ball over, then we should be right in the game with a chance to win at the end. But you can't turn it over 22 times like we did Friday night, and then on top of it, not when you do get to the foul line with a chance to, you know, score when there's the clock stops, to go 5 of 19 from the free throw line. So when you do those 2 things, it's pretty tough to win a basketball game no matter what level you're playing at.
Yeah, even with the turnovers, even I was saying the other night, at least if you consistently, you know, knock down 75, 80% of those free throws, you got maybe a 2-3 possession game at the end instead of the double-digit deficit that you incurred. You drew it close in the third quarter, got within 3, I think, and then it kind of just snowballed from that point on. It seemed like ran out of gas, using all that gas to get caught up. And
Well, and the thing of it is, and I told the girls this after the game was over, I said I'm not upset about the effort, because the effort was there. It's just the execution just was not. And that was just, I think that Benton did a good job of rattling us. Benton had their primary ball handler. Jenna Tweet is a heck of a basketball player.
Yes, she is.
And her experience in terms of playing, you know, not just basketball in the WAMAC, but playing, you know, AAU, et cetera, was huge, because she was able to, you know, attack and draw contact and get the free throw line, and then she would, you know, for the majority make her free throws. And you know, we had a lot of self-inflicted stuff where other, you know, we didn't. I'm not saying by any means we lost the game, because Benton certainly outplayed us, but we had our opportunities numerous times to get the lead in the third quarter, and we could never get over the hump. Every time it was like one of those where you take a step forward and you take 2 back, and then you get back to even, and then you go backwards again. And, you know, and give a lot of credit to Benton. They played some really, really, really good defense, and, you know, made it tough then on our guards to try and get passes into the post. And we weren't able to use our size to our advantage because we just couldn't get them the ball.
Then they knocked down a bunch of key 3-pointers.
Yes.
It started with Kramer in the early going. She had 4 right away.
Yep.
And then she got cold, and then Tweet took over from there and knocked down like 4 or 5.
Yeah. Yeah, the Tweet was definitely the best player on the floor that night, and you know,
I don't think she came off until the last minute.
And I think she's probably in most cases the best player on the floor most games, most nights. So, you know, and they ran through her. She had 25 points. We tried to limit her. We kind of took her out in the first half because she, you know, didn't do a whole lot in the first half, but her teammates stepped up, and that's a credit to a good team. That's why they're ranked, and will continue to be ranked, in my opinion, is because they've got a girl who they can go to in crunch time who can deliver, and have teammates who can kind of carry the load until, you know, keep them close until they get to crunch time. So,
no, this will only be my second time seeing you guys play tonight. Now, I noticed that you start your Twin Towers like you usually do, and Carly Davis and Jackie Miller, but the other night with the press, it kind of you had to sub in for each other and not be on the floor at the same time early on. Is that going to be by design, or is that just something you had to react to?
No, it's kind of by design. We start them. The key is numerous factors. I mean, one, we're not a very deep team at all in terms of numbers, etc. Second of all, we need to keep one on the floor at all times, but you can see when one or both get tired at the same time, we tend to, you tend to make silly fouls. You get tired. You get out of position, things like that. So we got to make sure that they're, for the most part, as rested as they can be. So we try and, I'm trying to sub and have them run for less time and sub more often. And at times it worked very well in the Independence game. Vinton, I think part of the issue in our fourth quarter was that I didn't sub as much, and a couple things happened. We didn't handle the press very well at the end, and we were tired, very tired. And, so it's one of those fine balancing acts is that you're trying to keep them, rested as much as you can so that you can be in a game in the fourth quarter so that you don't have to necessarily sub if you don't want to or have to out of necessity, and you want to try and keep them in out of foul trouble so that we can play aggressively in the fourth quarter when we need to, it's 3 games in. We're still learning. A lot of season ahead of us. By no means are we, down and out. Tonight's a big game. Tonight's we're mirror images of each other. PJ and I joke about that every time we play. It's literally you look at our stats; they're just basically the same. Size-wise, we're basically the same. We have the same philosophy in terms of what we play in terms of defense, things like that. So, we've been pretty much the same for the past 2 or 3 years, and it's going to continue tonight. So.
Well, another thing you get back tonight is the brains of the operations be back on the sideline.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I tell you what, you don't realize how much you miss an assistant coach until you miss an assistant coach.
Especially when you're in tune with each other.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he sees things that he sees. I see things I see, and there were certain things that I just didn't. Not that I didn't see. But it was like I didn't have anybody to bounce ideas or like, hey, let's try this or let's do that. Or even somebody on the sideline on Friday night that would say, let's try this and mix this up. It's just one of those things where, in this day and age, that unfortunately, thankfully he's healthy, but he had COVID. And, tonight is going to be nice to have him back. That's for sure.
How many times in a given night does he say, are you nuts?
Not that often.
I do know Leetsy came up at halftime the other night and said, "Hey, can you?" Because we knew Ray was watching. He goes, "Can you tell someone out there watching that it's way too quiet in here and he needs to come back?"
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing is that we are two completely different minds in terms of basketball. His focus is and has always been, more defensive. My focus has always been more offensive and pressing and attacking and things like that. So when you when you have two guys that work very well in unison and you lose one of those guys for a game, it's difficult. And especially considering that we've only got, Madison is new to our system this year and she's doing, a great job with the freshman fresh soft team. But it's just one of those things where she's not very familiar with what our philosophy is and what we want to do. I mean, she's only been here basically in the program almost 3 weeks. So, it'd be basically like taking Belichick and taking one of his two best assistants off the field.
Oh, you mean Steve?
Yeah, take them all off. Yeah, his son. Take them all off the field and see how they do. Now, granted, Belichick, would be still overly prepared, but it's just kind of that, it was difficult. It was one of those things where I was having to do everything as opposed to focus on more or less just seeing the overall game and then focusing on the offensive end, like how can we do better. It was also what can we do defensively at that point and things like that. We both basically handle each, and it's just kind of that's the division of labor that we've got. So
you brought it up. I didn't.
Yes.
Your Steelers gonna do anything? We can win games just by throwing the ball 3 times.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, here's the thing. I love them.
You knew this was coming.
I knew it was coming. I love them. Never gonna not cheer for them, but they're young at a lot of key positions. They're old at a key position.
Well, it sounds like that's going to be taking care of itself at the end of the year.
Well, yeah, but then I think that It's going to be interesting because there's just things that just like you see what happens when they play the Ravens and how they. And I'm not saying anything about Tomlin. I'm not saying bad or good. But you just see the effort versus the Ravens that you didn't see against the Bengals or some of the other teams. And I just –
playing to the competition.
Right. And so I honestly, with the remaining schedule they've got, if they play like that, then yes, they could make the playoffs. But I don't have any pipe dreams if they're going to do anything once they get there because they'll be at the bottom. They'll have to travel to
Gillette.
Yeah, Kansas City or a New England or something like that at the beginning of the playoffs and go from there.
Although we're not good at the home.
Yeah, maybe you'd be better. Maybe you should just not take the 1 seed. Like,
I think we should be the 6 or 7.
Be like 7. You can just go on the road and win 3 times and go to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I don't. You know, the good part is the offensive line is basically pretty much all new and young, and they kind of started coming around the last couple of weeks. And Najee Harris is unreal, and he's going to be a beast for the next several years because they're certainly going to lean on him, and they have been. And, their wide receiving core has stepped up with Juju being out for the season and stuff. I don't expect them, even when Ben retires, that they're going to take this huge nosedive. I think they'll still be right consistently right around 500 and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes. But
we got our yearly Patriots Steelers talk in,
yes,
like we always do.
Yes, we did. Yep.
So let's look at the WAMAC for you. Let's look at the East first. Who's cream of the crop out there this year?
Solon by far. Solon just beat Clear Creek Amana by 28 Friday night.
Who's the player for Solon?
Levine, Callie Levine, who's a sophomore who's committed to Iowa. It's Solon's to win or lose. That being said, we definitely match up very well with them in terms of, and I haven't looked at the roster this year, but last year we gave them 2 whale of games and we just didn't quite able to get over the hump. We definitely have what they don't have, and that's size, and we were able to exploit it numerous times against them last year. And Levine was just too good at the ends of both those games. But I don't know that maybe there was a freshman that came in that's their post that's big. But if Solon shoots the 3 well, you're not gonna you won't be in a game long with them. They're that good. I expect them to probably, unless something happens, they should win the East. I'm not saying that they will, but they should. As for the West, it's CPU and everybody else. We get to face CPU Friday night, so I've watched some film, and the Goebel girl just keeps getting better and better and better.
She's back again?
Yeah. She's like Tom Brady in a Patriots uniform. She never leaves.
Did she start in 6th grade?
Yeah, I think so.
When I heard that name, I'm like, what?
Yeah, she finally graduates this year. She's really improved her game. Even though she was, yeah, I know, it just makes you like shake your head.
Did she grow 3 more inches too?
It looked. I don't know if she actually grew. Maybe her arms grew, but
she does have long arms.
She is still 6'1". Her ball handling has gotten even better. She can contort. She made a couple shots against Benton on film that I'm just like, I don't understand how a girl can contort her body in those directions and yet still get a shot up and things like that. I mean, I've got an idea of how we want to play her. But that's going to be a game where you're going to have to take care of the first 47.5 feet of the court, because otherwise they're going to press and press and press and press, and pretty soon that game's going to be way out of reach.
And she is just incredible at the point of that press.
She has such knowledge of the
anticipation.
Yeah, her anticipation and instincts are so good. That honestly, I think she knows where the girl's going to pass it before the girl knows where she's going to pass it. It's just,
you're right.
And she's disrupted us for, every year I've been here. We have yet to play a good game against them, and she's the reason why every year. I mean, she even as a freshman, she really influenced the game just with her length and, quickness and stuff like that. So, it's we really CCA is going to be a good matchup tonight, and then we really step it up in competition after that. So
watching the fresh soft team on the floor, they're down 8 here in the 4th quarter. Another low scoring game for them. Numbers are kind of down this year for the high school levels.
Yes.
For you. So you don't have technically a freshman team this year, right?
Right. This is kind of our fresh soft team. We got a couple, 3 sophomores that start, and the rest are freshmen. And yeah, numbers are down. It seems to be that way kind of across girls basketball. So I was talking to PJ. He's got 3 levels, but he said he doesn't normally have. He's a lot less than he's on average he has been and stuff. So it is what it is. I mean.
Well, there's good numbers coming from when they got introduced the other night. So.
Yep. And I these girls, are working hard every day in practice. And I talked with them, each night, and it's like, hey, keep improving. The thing that I like is that they're hustling, in earlier games that wasn't the case when they got behind. So they're getting better. It's just that they're for the freshmen, they haven't played competitive basketball in 2 years because the 8th grade season got canceled due to COVID. So, the freshmen are 2 years behind, and you're playing against teams in the WAMAC who have feeder teams via AAU programs, especially in the West. And when you start doing that, you find out real quick, what 2 years off does versus girls that have been playing AAU ball since they've been in 4th and 5th grade and stuff. So, yeah, we're working. Keep getting better. Tonight there's been a lot of good for tonight. A lot more good. So hopefully build on confidence and continue to grow and go from there. So,
how's your kids doing?
Good. Gavin's a freshman, so he played last night. He's playing on the freshman team, starting point guard. So he's doing well.
Is he at Hempstead or senior?
Senior.
Senior.
So yep, and he's tiny, so that's but he does a good job around the point, and they're kind of undersized for sure because a lot of their height that they had in the freshman class went up to JV. But he's doing well. And then Lauren's a senior. She's finishing up at Iowa. She'll be done in May. And then Leah's with the granddaughter up in Oshkosh, and things are good up there. So everything's good.
That's good. Did you get to spend a lot of time with the baby this off season?
Yeah, some. They both work retail, so it's kind of hit and miss. So we were on vacation, I want to say in May, which was nice. A whole total family vacation, which was good.
Right.
They were back for a day here about a week and a half ago, and then we'll see them for a couple days at Christmas and stuff. So, but yeah, usually they FaceTime, maybe once every other day or something like that, and it goes from there. So, good shot.
I've seen quite a few of them go in and all the way out.
Yep. So, no, it's good. It's I tell you what, being a grandparent's awesome. That's all I got to say. So.
Well, yeah, you get to send them home.
Exactly.
After you spoil them.
Yeah. Yeah, you can have candy at 10 o'clock at night. I don't care. So, all right, Mel, make the layup. Oh. Go up, Casey. Oh, hang on to it. So, well, I appreciate all you do.
Yep,
I'm going to head down and talk to the girls quick. So.
All right. Well,
all righty.
Thanks again.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate all you do.
If you win, I'll wait and you can come up.
Okay. Sounds good.
Only if you win.
Sounds good. That's fine.
I'm only here for winners.
I don't blame you.
All right. That's Coach James Defke here on MCSM. We'll be back here in a little while after we finish up this sophomore game, and we'll live stream the varsity game coming up. Probably, I'm going to guess, within the next 35 minutes here. So we'll start a new stream for that.